Hi team, good morning. How are you? 26720015. Okay, so today, today we'll discuss about members and physical file. Just wait for 2 more minutes. Okay, so now we'll discuss about the list of members. See, in AS400 we have members in physical file. Okay, or else. See, members in physical file concept, which is nothing but it is also, there are two types of members basically. One is source member, another one is a data member. Okay, a source member will contain the source code of an object, and the data member will be there in a physical file. Okay, members are of two types. One is source physical file member and physical file member, physical file data member. Maybe I need to so this is a member. A member is divided into two types. One is source member and physical file member. So this is a source member. A source member is used to create an object. Okay, and this is data member, which will be part of physical file. Okay, and this is part of the source member will be a part of source physical file. Okay, data member is a part of physical file and source member is part of source physical file. See, why do we have this members concept in AS400 means to maintain the data easily, we can use this members concept. See, generally in our childhood we used to see a different books for each and every subject. Okay, for social there is a there is a separate book, and for English we have a separate book. For Hindi, Telugu, maths, science, for each and every subject we have a different books. So whenever there is a, based on the timetable, we used to carry the books. Okay, so instead of carrying all the books every day to school, it's better to carry whatever the subjects, whatever the classes are there for today as per the timetable. We used to carry those books only, so that we can avoid some books which will give us some strength to carry the bag. Okay, or otherwise it will be a lot of weight, right, during that stage, since we are a kids, and if we want to carry that much of weight, then it will be a bit difficult. So as per the subjects, if we carry that books, then we can have some less weight, and that's why we can able to maintain the books bit easily. And yeah, that is kind of an advantage during the childhood. And later on we have a book called All in One, where it will contain all the maths, English, science, social, chemistry, everything all in one book. Okay, if we carry that book alone, that is enough, which will contain all subjects. Okay, but always that is not a right suggestion, because every time, even if we have a subject or not, we have to carry that much of book, and that too the maintenance will be a bit difficult. Okay, the maintenance of that book is a bit difficult, and if something goes wrong and every page, the whole book will get torn into pieces. Like, even if it's social or science, we have to touch that book, and the pages will get torn away, and the maintenance will be a bit different. Okay, so that is one disadvantage. But as per maintaining all the subjects in one book, that is one advantage. Okay, this is just an example to understand the difference between all-in-one book and separate books for each and every subject. But coming to our AS400, the complete data will be stored in physical file data member. Whatever the data you insert, that data will be stored in a physical file data member. Okay, always. So that is a rule. Okay. Um, See, the physical file will contain n number of records. Like I've seen even 30 million records as well. Okay, maximum. You can see that limit also here. I will show you in the while explaining this concept. So if we maintain, even if it allows to maintain that many number of records, whenever you want to search any data, okay, it has to search all 30 million records. Let's say 30 million is the maximum size of this physical file to contain those records and all. And if you want to search for a particular employee, that employee record has to search all over this 30 million records, okay, which is not needed. If the employee record was found in the 100th record itself, but still it will try to search if there is any other employee record was exist with the same number or not, okay, throughout this 30 million number of records, which is unnecessarily it's being looked into all those number of records. Okay, um, but if we maintain those records in a member spaces, like let's say for every 1 lakh records we are maintaining in a separate member. Okay, and if we know that member belongs to that employee number might exist in a particular member, then we can go and search in a particular member only, no, so which will contain only 1 lakh number of records. See, searching for a record in 1 lakh bit easy than searching for a record in 30 million records. Okay, the processing time will get increased if we search in 30 million number of records. Okay, whereas if you search in within 1 lakh records as per the particular members, then we can reduce some time, we can save some time, the performance will be faster, and even it will be a bit easy to maintain the data as per the members. Okay, and one more example is um, see, we if we want to pay some electrical bills, generally now we have everything is in online. We can pay our electricity bills and everything in online. But earlier days, in the olden days, we have to go to that electricity office to pay the bills. See, during the cash count, if we tell our meter number, the person who used to check, uh, he might ask you for your meter number and the area code. Okay, so based on the area code, they will get one booklet, and from that booklet, they will search for your meter number. to get the reading and cost of your electricity bill. Okay, so that is how you want to pick your bill. Instead of looking at all the regions bill at a time, it will be a bit different, no? Like there might be in a particular region there are n number of houses, n number of meter reading bills will be there. For a particular member, if he has to search in all the number of bills starting from first to last, then it would be very tedious task. So what they will do is, based on the area wise, they will differentiate the bills and put a note on it. So whenever they say that I belongs to this so and so region, then they will get that particular booklet, and from that booklet they will just search for your meter number. So that is bit easy to grab your particular bill number. And the same way, to maintain the data bit easily, it's better to segregate the data in between the members. Okay, so that is the main advantage of using the members. Okay, we can divide the data into a members based process, and the performance will also get increased. That is the main advantage. And always remember the data will be exist in data member, and the source code will be exist in source member. Okay, the source member will contain the source code of an object, whether you're trying to create a physical file object or logical file object or RPGLE or CLP, whatever the type of object that you want to create. For every object there will be a source code. Okay, without source code we cannot create an object. Only couple of objects will be created without the source code, but that is exceptional. You need to remember at this point of time, without source code there will not be any object created. Okay, so this is kind of a source member. Okay, this source member is needed to create an object. So once the object is created, then that physical file, only this physical file or logical file will contain the data members. That's it. Okay, no other file will have a data members. Okay, so we'll come to this logical file part bit later, but you need to remember the data members will be part of physical file only. Okay, the data members will contain the data, and source members will contain the source code of an object. Okay, so we'll see how it is, how we can identify what is a data member and what is a source member. Since we have a lot of idle time, the session got disconnected. Okay, so work member PDM. So in this work member PDM, in this work member PDM, if you see this, iDream 1 is a library and QDD SSRC is a source physical file. Means it's like a folder. Under this drive, QDD SSRC is a source physical file, it's a folder. Under this folder, These are all the source members. Okay, source members means you're trying to create an object with the structure. Okay, you're creating a structure of a physical file. Okay, you want this physical file looks like this, and once the object is created, then you're trying to do a run query on that file, and you will try to insert some data using a UPDTA. All this can happen only when your object is created. Unless until your object is created, you can't able to insert or view the data in a physical file. Okay, before that you need to create a source for an object. Okay, see, always remember, in work member PDM you can only see the list of source members under a particular source physical file and source library. Okay, these are all the list of source members. Now what is your data member means? If you do DSP FD means I want to get the file details. Okay, I want to see the file details of EMP and press an enter key and go to bottom of this page. See, how do you go to bottom of this page means you need to type B on the bottom of this, type B at control. Okay, so type B at control and hit an enter key, and now you can see there is a members. Okay, so there is a position where it will indicate member list. In the member list I have only one member created, and that member is having 3 records. Okay. Okay, so EMP, I have created an object called EMP, and the EMP file is having a data member called same name as object name called EMP, and that EMP data member is having 3 records in it. Okay, run query on EMP object. See, these are all the 3 records. So this is a part of data member. Okay, your data member is having 3 records, so that's why you can see the list of 3 records are stored here. Okay, earlier you have created the DDS of this physical file, how you want to look like, what is your field name and how it should look like. All this information you have created in your source member. Now once a source member is created for an object, once you compiled it, then a physical file will have a default data member. Always physical file will contain a detailed default data member. That's the reason whatever the data that you are trying to insert, it will be stored in the default data member. And even the default data member name will also be same as your object name. Okay, remember this point, your default data member name will be same as your object name. See, that is universal truth anywhere, even if it is a 20 years experienced person or 1 year experienced person or fresher, it is same. Okay, and one moment please. Okay. So your physical file is having this DDS. Always your physical file will contain a default data member. A default data member name will be same as your object name. Okay. And this is a source physical file. In this source physical file, we have these two source members. Okay. So directly you are able to see the list of source members details here. But even if you want to see using this dspfd command, always if you want to view the details of a file, then use dspfd command. So that is the best command. iDream 1. In this library, I have an object called qdd ssrc. Okay. And if I go to bottom of this page on the control, if I specify B and hit an enter key, now you can see in the member list I have EMP and EMP1. These are the two source members which is having 13 records and 2 records. Okay. So these records are nothing but a source code, like a designing for an object, designing to create an object. Okay. So total number of members in the source physical file is 2, and the total records in all the members is 15. It means we have 2 members listed here. In the first member we have 13 records, in the second member we have 2 records. So adding these 2 will give you the total number of records. Okay. Total number of members, it is 2. Okay. And say why it is showing this value as 13 and 2 means, if you take option 5 here, you can see these are all the number of lines that you have created to create your physical file DDS, physical file object. Okay. For creating a physical file object, you have created this source. Okay. So the number of lines, if you see in the sequence line, it is 13. So that is why in DSPFD, it is showing that value as 13 records. Okay. And even you can do a run query on this file as well. Run query. So till now we haven't take any F4 function key here. Now this is the time you need to press F4, press F4 and F11. See, whatever the values that you give, it should go here by default. I have a file called qdd ssrc source physical file, and that is located in iDream 1 source library. And instead of first member, I want to point to a particular member. Okay. So the under the source physical file qdd I have 2 members created. One is emp and emp1. Okay. If you hit an enter key, now you will see the source code is displayed as a records. Okay. If you run the source physical file, it will give you the source code as a records. Okay. But if you run the actual physical file object, not the source physical file, if you run the physical file object, whatever the data which you have inserted to these fields, it will be displayed as an output. Okay. So that's why I'm saying the source physical file will contain the source code of an object, and the actual physical file will contain the data of an object. Okay, so source physical file will contain the source members and the physical file will contain the data members. But have we created this fields? No, right? Sequence number, source data, source date and source data. These three fields are common, fixed. Okay, this is system created structure. We haven't created the structure of this source physical file. If you are running a source physical file means always you will see these three fields for sure. The sequence number will tell you how many records are there in your source. Okay, and the source date will tell you the list of statements which you have mentioned in your source code is modified on these dates. Okay, so today is 27. Yesterday we have modified this unique function in the file level, and in 2022 10 October 19th is the date. That day we have modified this record format name. Okay, so the date is in YMD format, year, month and day. Okay, so you need to read that value in that format, YMD format. And in the source data, starting from here to here, this is all your source code. Okay, even if you create a CLP programs or RPG programs, SQL RPGLE, COBOL, C programs, whatever the language it is, everything will be stored in a source member. If you run the source physical file, that will give you the source code of an object. Okay, so this is final. The source physical file will contain these three fields as default, but whereas your data member of a physical file will contain the structure which you have defined here. In EMP1 we have these many number of fields created, but in EMP1 we have only two fields, we have only one field listed here. Okay, if you run this source physical file of EMP1, now you can see this value as a record. Okay, see earlier till now we are just using this run query as run query and brackets and file name, that's it. But if you want to give the complete command of a run query, then you need to type the run query command as like this: run query space, and this is the parameter which will accept the library, source library, sorry, whether it is a source library or a data library, object library, that is different. It requires a library, file name and the member name. Okay, and if you press an F4, the values which you give, which will be moved to by default to this location. Okay, now if you want to view the records of EMP1, then you need to type the values like this. In iDream 1 source library, I have a library called source QDD SSRC as a source physical file, and under the source physical file I have an source member called EMP1. Member name is EMP1, and if you hit an enter key, even now if you see, we have three fields as a default fields for the source physical file, and in the sequence number you can see there are two lines: source date, the date modified value, and the source data. We have this two records. Now we can say these are the two records, but actually this is a source code in a source member. Okay, so record format name and the field name. So this is the first file which you have created, correct? And now if you do a run query brackets emp1, see, let's see where this emp1 is pointed in run query. So just press an F4 and F11. See, the employee 1 was located in a query file. Okay, the emp1 object is there in iDream 1 object library. For each and every physical file object will have a default data member. Okay, and you can leave that field as it is star first. The star first means the default data member, which will be same as object name. Unless until you change the object name, data member name, the name will be same as object name. Even if you specify emp1 also, that will work. Without any doubt, you can type the member name as same as object name emp1. Okay, or even if you specify the star first also, that will work. If you press an enter key, now you can see there is only one field was mentioned here, because this is the default, this is the only field that we have created in emp1. So that is the difference between executing a data member and a source member. Okay, if you run the query on a source member, it will give you the DDS. If you run the query on a data member, then it will show you the data records. Data member will be exist only in physical files, which will contain the actual data. Okay, the data members will not be there for an RPGLE programs or CLP programs or COBOL programs, all this. Okay, so this all will be there in a source members. That's it. That will not contain any data members. Remember this point. And I think just go through this concept today, and we have few more concepts to be discussed on the members. We will discuss about how to add that member to a physical file and how to add a member in source physical file. Okay, and what are all the list of different commands exist while creating a members. If you want to remove a member from a physical file or a source physical file, then what is a command? If you want to delete that member, then what is a command? And if you want to rename it, then what is that command? Okay, if you want to increase the limit of your limit of members, then how to do that without data loss? How to save your data, then how to do that process? Okay, so we have um, several topics to be discussed on this members concept. So already 40 minutes is over, so we'll stop here, and we'll discuss these concepts tomorrow. So that's all for today, and before coming to tomorrow's class, try to go through this concepts bit clearly, and at least more than once. Only if you have some clarity on your subject, then only the next topics will be clear. You can able to understand and relate those concepts. Okay, so try to learn these concepts without fail. So that's it for today. Have a nice day. Bye.